Hi Jim and John, thanks for coming today.
G'day.
So the reason I've called you in today is just to go through the report that I've compiled for you to cover all the areas that we're going to need to look at to get your business up and going. Things we're going to need to look at is firstly your business structure. So considering that you're both going into business together, I would recommend a general partnership, because the general partnership means that you're going to be sharing your profits, managing the business together and sharing the liabilities as well. So we also need to get your business registered. As a partnership you are legally required to do all the appropriate registrations to get your licences and permits happening. So for your business registration. So an ABN, now because you're going to have an annual turnover over $75,000 per year, we'll need to get you applying for an ABN, so we can do that through the Australian Business Register. And also because you're going to be looking at GST, you'll need to register for GST purposes as well. For your business name, so once you've registered your ABN, we can get your business name, so Jim Owen Construction. So that's wonderful, so we can get that up and happening for you. So that's done through ASIC. So your GST, so as I said, your business is going to be have an annual turnover exceeding 75,000. So you'll need to use your ABN to register for goods and services tax, and that can be done through the Australian Taxation Office, and they've got a portal that you can go in and do all that with. So licences and permits, so you're going to need to ensure that you're compliant. And all partners and subcontractors, or partners and subcontractors, need to have the appropriate licences and permits. So things like permits, your licensing can be done, codes of practice, registration for your business, standards and guidelines for the building industry. Some regulatory requirements that you're going to need to look at. All businesses are responsible for this, so you're going to need to meet your obligations when it comes to your regulatory requirements. So things like your workplace health and safety, diversity and cultural laws, so you know that covers your anti-discrimination when in the workplace. So the Human Rights Commission has a lot of information about racial discrimination and things like that. So just be mindful, obviously, when you're employing people, not to take any religion or ethnicity or any of those sorts of things into consideration, just purely on people's experience and what they're going to bring to your job. So taxation reporting is a very important aspect for you, and it is a legislative requirement, and it's a responsibility of your business as well. So you'll need to be doing an annual partnership report, and you'll need to also lodge a partnership tax return to report your net income as well. So GST, as we touched on before, so because you will need to register for GST, you must report and pay your GST to the Australian Taxation Office. Also, if you're looking to claim back any GST credits, withholding tax, fringe benefit tax, that all needs to be recorded as well, and that'll be done through your BAS. Your income tax returns, so you'll need to be looking to make sure that they're lodged on a regular basis. So your partnership to show any net losses or income for your partnership. The business activity statement, as we discussed, so that can be done on a quarterly or a annual basis, and you will, once you've registered for GST, you'll get them automatically sent to you. Policies and procedures, you need to make sure that you've got all this in place so you're compliant. So things like the construction code of practice you need to be looking at, workplace health and safety regulations, so WorkSafe Australia has information on all these areas. Human resources, so the Fair Work Act and Best Practices Guide for Small Business is something that you're going to need to ensure that you've got in place there. A finance authorisation policy is also recommended. It just means you're both on the same page when it comes to your expenditure, debt collecting and things like that, credit card use and that type of thing. A business plan. Now that's going to be the most important thing for your business, and you want to have that up front before you start your business, because it's a bit of a roadmap for your business. You'll know where you're going, set some goals as to what you want to achieve with the business. And if you're going to apply for finance, you're going to need to show your financier that you've got a business plan in place and that they can see where you're going as well.
Yeah.
Some specialised services that I would recommend that you join are places like the Master Builders Association and Chamber of Commerce. Great networking opportunities for you, and they're also got a lot of information on industry regulations, insurances and that type of thing. So what else are we going to look at? So some insurance, so making sure that all your insurance is up to date. Workers' compensation, you're going to need to have that in place. Motor vehicle insurance, making sure you've got comprehensive insurance. Business interruption or loss of profits insurance, and then also professional liability insurance. So, you know, just in case that, you know, they also call it malpractice insurance, covers you if you or your staff are put in a situation where you've given out the wrong information or you've made some issues with your building. So is there any questions so far, John?
What leasing agreements do we need, and what is the negotiation process?
Okay, so
leasing the vehicles.
So leasing the vehicles, yeah. So vehicles and the vehicles in your shed, they're going to be what you're going to need to look at for leasing arrangements. Generally, every 12 months you will renew your lease or your leasing agreements there. So your vehicle and your shed insurance we've looked at for you, your leasing arrangements there. So again, so we will look at that on a monthly basis. You'll pay your premiums on a monthly basis. Review them every 12 months with the option to extend down the track. So any other questions, Jim, that you might have about contracting?
Oh, just how do we make sure that the contracts for the job, the subcontractors covers everything we need?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we'll make sure that we put a contract in place that's going to cover everything that you're going to need to be looking at. So, for example, the scope of the business, you know, payments of the contract, any disputes, so you put a dispute resolution in there as well, and, you know, termination clauses. So, so it's going to make sure that it covers everything. So you'll have, you know, you'll be safeguarded against any issues that come up there. Record keeping, this is imperative. Make sure that you've got not only your hard copies, but you've got an electronic copy of your records. Keep them off site so they're, you know, so they're safe as a backup copy. Just make sure you're monitoring your business on a regular basis. You know, this ensures it keeps you up to date as to where your business is at, and it just keeps a firm handle on how you're progressing through. You know, supervise your work site, make sure that you know everything's running there according to how you want, and you know, making sure all your projects are running on time. So just a couple of areas that I've identified for non-compliance. WorkSafe insurance you're going to need to have a look at because you're looking to have an apprenticeship on board. Safe work method statement, I would suggest putting those in place because you're looking at high risk work. And then certainly PPE, so protective personal equipment, making sure your staff are aware of how to use all that, and that sort of thing. So some recommendations that I'd like to make to you is to ensure that you put through a monthly checklist. Sit down every month at the end of each month and make sure that you've got all your cash flow statements, profit and loss, and your balance sheet up to date, all your GST, payroll tax, all that sort of thing is up to date. Review your payroll records, your insurance payments, make sure all those are being taken out at the appropriate time. You know, review your debtors, make sure that you're collecting your debts, bank reconciliation, backing up your data, and reviewing your workplace practices and incident reports, and having meetings. Make sure you're having regular site meetings with your staff and you know, with yourself, so you know what's going on. So so is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, that seems to
No, everything seems to be great. That's wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to going on this journey with you in your new business, and very much looking forward to being with you while you get the business set up and making sure that everything is compliant for you and that you'll be up and running in no time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.